Um, we're now going to have the report of the CSU Alumni Council. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Chair Eisen, and good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to be with you today to share several updates from the Alumni Council. As you know from the alumni guest speakers we've enjoyed over the last year, the Alumni Council is interested in telling the stories of our legacy alumni families to help highlight the generational impacts a CSU education brings to families and communities. This is one of the most powerful stories we can tell. Not only does this university system transform lives, it transforms them for generations. To that end, I'm convening a special committee on legacy alumni that will explore ways to identify, celebrate, and further engage this special group of alumni system-wide. Alumni Council past president Ken Stone will chair the committee. I'm especially pleased that Ken has accepted this assignment as he has a deep knowledge in this area, not only from his own family's experience. He and his wife are Cal Poly SLO alumni, as are their 3 children, but he has been involved in many campus programs that foster generational impact. We are also pleased that CSSA and the Academic Senate have taken an active interest in this initiative, and we look forward to partnering with them on moving forward. And how about those legacy faculty whose parents and children have also taught in the CSU? That's a whole nother initiative. I'll get to that my next term. I would like to take a moment, though, to say that we appreciate the discussion and the concerns expressed yesterday as you talked about the impact of potential actions the BOT Board of Trustees must weigh to meet our funding needs. This legacy project reminds us that these actions, be it tuition, enrollment, or other adjustment measures, potentially in fact multiple members of the same family at the same time. We could be talking about a parent who must return to college to retrain for a different career or to advance on the current job that they hold. The graduating son or daughter who wants to continue to grad school if the funding allows in that family. And then what about the freshman little sister or brother who is trying to enroll at the campus closest to home to save on cost? Thank you for keeping these CSU families in mind, whether they be in the 60 or the 40%, as the discussion of these options move forward. And our goal with the Alumni Council will be to bring these important voices to our advocacy efforts. As this board continues its strong focus on increasing graduation rates and closing the achievement gap, I want to give you a preview of the upcoming Alumni Council meeting in March at Cal State Bakersfield. The entire meeting will focus on the Graduation Initiative 2025 and how alumni can be active contributors to student success. While many of our campuses have innovative programs that encourage alumni participation with students, we have much potential for growth. With 3.3 million alumni, engaging even a small portion of them in ways that bring them together with students to support career preparation and encouragement to degree completion will provide additional momentum toward increasing graduation rates and closing the achievement gap. The Alumni Council will focus its discussion on ways that alumni can be meaningfully involved, beginning with these 2 main areas, but certainly not limited there. Career preparation being one, but also helping these students meet their basic needs, such as food, housing, and providing emergency grant funding. Alumni Council members will prepare for the March meeting by reviewing their individual campus plans, speaking with their campus Initiative 2025 liaisons, and then brainstorming on how alumni can help move the needle toward achieving those campus and system-wide goals. Dr. Blanchard, we have very much enjoyed working with the thought leaders on your team, Dr. Miner, Jeff Gold, Marianne Jackman, on planning this session, and we look forward to sharing the outcome of our conversations with the board after March. The Alumni Council is fully committed to being an active partner in ensuring we meet the Graduation Initiative goals. On an advocacy note, I'd like to let both Jim and Kathleen in our governmental affairs offices know that the Alumni Council, as always, is committed to whatever support you need from alumni to achieve the university's federal and state legislative and budget priorities. We look forward to working with them again this year. Today, I'm very proud to introduce our alumni guest speaker, Netta Nabari. Ms. Nabari is a proud graduate of San Francisco State University. As a business leader, Ms. Nabari spent over 20 years as the director and vice chair of BB Stores Incorporated. She later transitioned her focus to her philanthropic endeavors and established the Netta Nubari Foundation, which supports organizations in the arts, film, and education, promoting social justice and cultural awareness. Ms. Nubari remained deeply involved at her alma mater as a board member of the San Francisco State Foundation. This summer, she made a transformative $5 million gift to the university to establish the Center for Iranian Diaspora Studies, which establishes San Francisco State as a pioneer in this field of research. We are so honored to have Ms. Nubari with us today to share her CSU story. Netta, we invite you to the podium. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chancellor White, Chair Eisen, trustees, presidents, faculty, students, and guests. I'm honored by the invitation and the opportunity to share the story of how I ended up here today. I was born in Tehran, Iran, to an Azeri family. This meant that I spoke Azeri Turkish before I switched to Farsi when I started first grade. The knowledge of Turkish language was a tool that came in handy during my first year in the States when the hostage crisis erupted, allowing me to claim a different nationality than Iranian to deflect the hostilities. My father worked for the National Iranian Oil Company, and as a result, I spent most of my formative years living in Abadan in the Khuzestan region near the Persian Gulf. We lived in a British-built compound near the refinery where most of my memories from Iran come from. I moved to the United States in September of 1978, right before the Iranian Revolution, with the intention of returning home after completing my studies. I was 15 years old and unaware of the unintended consequences of a revolution and a war looming in the horizon. Despite my parents' great concerns, I left Tehran for San Francisco to live with my aunt, uncle, and cousin, Siamak Nobari. Siamak was a year older and had already been living in the States for 3 years. So he was always a step ahead and my guiding star through all of my experiences at San Rafael High School, College of Marin, and later San Francisco State University. He also introduced me to the Iranian students at San Francisco State. Some of the people I met then in the early 80s remain my closest friends to this day. Unfortunately, we lost Siamak to leukemia before he was able to graduate. Mentioning him here is a way for me to honor his mark on the path that has brought me here today. By default, like most Iranian students at that time, I majored in math and science and graduated from San Francisco State University with a bachelor's degree in computer science in 1984. I left my first job as a software engineer at an Irish communications company to join my then husband, Manny Mashouf, at Bibi. Over the next 22 years, we built a highly successful fashion company together. It was an exhilarating, fast-paced, and demanding period of my life, during which we also raised a family. It was during this time that Manny and I made our $10 million gift to San Francisco State University together. After a major shift in my personal and professional life in 2006, I carried my passion and dedication from the for-profit sector into nonprofit. I set up a private foundation and started engaging with local NGOs and community foundations. In 2008, I moved with my 2 teenage sons from Beverly Hills to Meriden, New Hampshire. I've never actually met anyone who knows where Meriden, New Hampshire is. But as soon as they hear Hanover, they say, oh yes, Dartmouth. I applied for the master's program in liberal studies there. President Corrigan wrote my first recommendation letter. When I sent him a signed copy of my finished thesis titled Iranian American Women, The Lost Generation, both the president and Mrs. Corrigan called. They have continued to send me praises as they learn about my achievements, including my deeper connection with San Francisco State University. It was their idea to name the hall in the new library after me before their retirement. They knew how much the library meant to me, and it was a beautiful way for them to acknowledge me before their departure. I moved back to the San Francisco Bay Area in 2014 and was invited to rejoin the foundation board the following year. One day last year, Robert Nava and Ann Harris, in their usual gracious, sincere, and professional manner, requested a meeting with me to share their exciting news about the university's first ever capital campaign with the caption, Bold Thinking. I loved it, bold thinking. What would be the intersection of bold for me and bold for the university? $5 million would be bold, but so would a Center for Iranian Diaspora Studies, a center with a focus on the 21st century and a future shaped by humanity on the move, whether for climate reasons, conflict over natural resources, or human rights issues. I came here as a foreign student, and I became an immigrant when returning home was no longer an option. My sister was a refugee in Sweden during the Iran-Iraq War. I have been geographically separated from my family for the last 38 years. I'm not unique. Displaced Iranian communities have come to existence all over the globe for almost 4 decades. And now, our second generation, the hybrid Iranian millennials, are searching for meaning in their cultural heritage while navigating a politically charged relationship between homeland and their host countries. They're academically interested in disciplines considered unconventional by my generation: humanities, film, the arts. To have a center focused on such understudied disciplines, researching diaspora in its broader term through an Iranian prism, would be bold. Beyond the economic interests and investment that immigrants contribute, it's important to point out how they also contribute to shaping culture, attitudes, and experiences for everyone. For many people, immigrants are the best teachers of the world. Their stories increase everyone's humanity and capacity for empathy. In a place like San Francisco Bay Area, where one can easily see the real contributions of immigrant communities to the arts and culture, it becomes impossible to imagine a world without the rich diversity that is woven into its colorful fibers. The immigrants' stories, images, films, music, wisdom, pain and resilience, dignity and generosity teach us about peace and understanding. I can be only hopeful for the sake of our future generations that we as a society remain open to embracing others like me, like myself, we make up this country, and we contribute in so many ways to our collective experience and progress as a nation. I was thrilled when I learned that President Wong and Provost Rosser were equally as enthusiastic about my proposal for this innovative center that would embrace and embody such a diversity. My gift was intentional in its size and its focus. I made a decision to endow this center at San Francisco State University rather than a private institution like Dartmouth, even though I did get a wonderful education there and had some extraordinary professors. But ultimately, I believe it's the public higher education that can be the social escalator and the best way to chip away at inequality, providing educational opportunity for those who would never have a chance otherwise. In 1982, 3 and 4, as a foreign student whose country was in the middle of a war, I was one of those students. I'm proud to give to a university that leads by example, providing not only scholarships, but also housing, mentorship, educational, and emotional support to marginalized populations, such as former foster youth and incarcerated. I'm proud to be a supporter of the public higher education system in California, and I'm proud to be a Gator. As a member of the University Foundation's Investment Committee, I've also been exposed to the diligent process and exemplary values that the university staff and the volunteer members uphold to protect the interests of the donors. This knowledge, in addition to the focus on green fund and consciousness around environmental and social investment practices, has enabled me to make this lead gift with the utmost confidence and conviction. Once again, I am honored to be here. I am grateful to San Francisco State University for the role that it has played in shaping my strong foundation. I feel blessed to have a very special relationship with my alma mater. I'm humbled by President and Mrs. Wong's graceful leadership. And I'm grateful for the meaningful friendships that I have been able to build with my San Francisco State University family. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nobari. I would like to turn to Chancellor White for a special presentation.
Ms. Nobari, thank you for sharing your CSU, your San Francisco State story. I'm still processing your comments. Clearly, the unrelenting values you bring to life and bring to our campus in San Francisco inspires us all. And in times of much uncertainty and consternation, your story, your words provide some comfort to us in this room, I think, about the role we play. Sometimes we don't often recognize it at the moment, but the role we play in your life, in your family's life, and in the millions of lives that you represent. So we're very grateful to have had you here. We're very grateful to your investment in the Center for Iranian Diaspora Studies at San Francisco, and we look forward to your advice and counsel as we navigate the future together. I have for you a commendation that speaks to the whereases that she more eloquently just went through, with a conclusion that on behalf of the California State University, I extend our most sincere appreciation for the years of dedicated leadership and generous philanthropic support that you have provided to the university and to our students. Thank you so very much, Dana. Les, could you come down, please? Michelle, I think we pressed the button. Come Come down and stand in front of me. Hang on a second, I want to make sure I don't have a wire hanging out. There we go. Your eyes and you can. Sure. Thank you very much. I'll give this the lesson. We can actually just shift.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair Issa.